Dolph! Drew! Braun! It's me! It's the DDP! Braun! So welcome to the Raw Loaf, to the September 3rd Labor Day special edition of Monday Night Raw, taking place at the Ohio State University, and we saw Dolph, Drew, and Braun, which I'm calling DDP because I saw DDP do an awesome diamond cutter on Saturday. They came out and they were like, take a look at this video package. So I've grown kind of curious as to see how much time this week the WWE actually put out like brand new content, not just replayed or recapping or here's what's coming up. So on Friday, just make sure to watch and subscribe to the Raw Loaf, and I'll put up a video at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Then we'll see how much time brand new material was put out in a 3-hour show. So until tonight, I never really fully comprehended how big Drew McIntyre was until I saw him standing right next to Braun, next to Dolph Ziggler. Like, he's bigger than I thought he was. And on top of that, I didn't realize how much Dolph Ziggler sounded like a mouse until tonight after hearing Braun and Drew speak. So after these three say they're gonna put an end to the Shield, because that's what Justice would look like, the Shield actually comes out from the crowd and Dean Ambrose looks like he's like, can I go back to sleep now? Like, is my job done? But then Baron Corbin sends out like basically the whole roster to break up these 6 guys. Just so you know, it takes about 26 guys to break up 6 guys. My question is, where are all the women whenever this happens? None of the female superstars come out to help break up the fight. Like, I think it's happened. I want to say I've seen it one time, but where are they? Like, and if there's one thing that I learned from this opening part of Raw, it's that I will have Roman Reigns on my team the next time I play Red Rover, because if they were playing Red Rover, Roman Reigns broke through a group of about 8 guys with like, he barely tried. This is like they just kind of walked out of the way and just let him walk up the ramp. But he broke through, but he kind of walked up the ramp too. So he's probably the king of Red Rover. Red Rover, Roman Reigns. Oh, dang it. Let's call him that from now on. Red Rover, Roman Reigns. Red Rover, Roman Reigns. Red Rover, Roman Reigns. Red Roman, Rover Reigns. Red Roman, Rover Reigns. Red Roman, Rover Reigns. I messed that one up. And following all the chaos, the Shield is arrested right there in that very backstage by the police, as there's about 12 superstars all yelling and screaming at each other as they're driven away handcuffed. So the first match of the night is the Riot Squad's Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan taking on the returning after 3 years, the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki Bella. They came back, and if there's one thing that we saw in this match, maybe it was ring rust, but maybe after you've had a baby, Mama Birdie Brie Bella shouldn't be flying anymore, because But in the end, the returning Divas champion Nikki Bella hits the Rack Attack 2.0 and wins the match for the Bella Twins. So after this match, we go backstage to Baron Corbin, who's in over his head and having the Shield arrested, and Finn Balor comes in and goes, "Hey mate, I bloke." Okay, he didn't. Alright, I'm done with the impressions. Finn Balor comes in, asks Baron Corbin for a rematch. Baron Corbin goes, "Sure, we'll have the main event in 2 hours." Baron Corbin, what kind of general manager would start Monday Night Raw without even having a main event planned? Baron Corbin, you are about as intelligent as every single hair that you have on the top of your head. So after a quick commercial break, we come back and Chad Gable and the glorious one Bobby Roode are together, and Chad is going ballistic because Bobby Roode has agreed to be in a tag team with Chad Gable. Charlie Caruso, after a really quick interview, steps out of their way as they make their way out to the ring. Bobby Roode's going with his normal entry, and Chad Gable's loving it. He's like a little child trying to get in sync with his brand new tag team partner, Bobby Roode, who, by the way, has never been in a tag team. If you have been listening to the announce team, he has never ever been in a tag team called Beer Money. They have never been 5-time TNA World Champions. They have never actually wrestled a match together, Beer Money. You know, have you heard of Beer Money? I guess that was all a dream in my head. So before they get on with their match, Connor and Victor get in the ring and Connor has a mic and he proceeds to call Chad Gable what I guess he thought looks like a sawed-off duck butt. That would be a mic drop, but I don't know what that means. But I will say this about Connor, maybe he's really bad at name calling, but boy howdy, did you see that elbow drop he did? He was like an airplane going in for a crash landing. Wah! And after Bobby Roode's been in the ring with the Ascension for a while, he gets that tag onto Chad Gable, and Chad Gable runs into the ring. And I would say his performance after he gets tagged in is very child-worthy, as in he was like a child, man. Just he looked so excited, and he was hitting everything, and he was just knocking people over. Ran onto the apron, cannonball onto Connor, ran up to the top rope, jumped down onto Victor, and then he got his strength. He uses that bodily strength of his, and he does that pickup German suplex, like not even, he just picks him up, man. Picks him up, bam, German suplex, 1, 2, 3. Bobby Roode is gloriously happy with this performance of the new tag team, and Glorious Gable, let's hope they do something fun together. The only thing that I hope that doesn't happen is if we get what every other tag team has, or every other two dudes that get together. They just play each of their theme songs. We can't have that. So after this match, we go to Elias, and Elias is, I guess, showing somebody how to download his music on iTunes. That guy looks like he probably knew how to do it. Calm down, Elias. So Elias comes out, he does his thing, he plays his guitar, he sings a little song, and then he clearly states he strongly dislikes women who hit men, in reference to Trish slapping him last week. But he did call her a 60-year-old woman, so there's that. And then he proceeds to dump all over Columbus, Ohio. I lived in Dublin for a couple years. I hated it, but I wouldn't say because it was the city that I hated. It was because... Oh, let's get on back up. It was because of the job I had at the time. And then Alexa Bliss comes out with Alicia Fox and Mickie James, and she just completely tears apart Elias. Says Ohio's awesome, Columbus rules. She graduated right there in that very building. And then she said, "You're right, Elias, they all suck." Wow. She does this like every other week, you know? You would think people would see it coming. Not a good thing to do if you've got a t-shirt on sale there. And even though Alexa Bliss is a bad girl, I thought it was kind of funny when she called Natty Ronda the Roller Coaster Rousey's pet cat. That was kind of funny. And then when Ronda Rousey and Natty came out, Natty was wearing the ears. It was like, oh. And then she like gave them to a girl just like her uncle used to with his sunglasses. And this week was just like last week. The two, Alicia Fox and Mickie James, had Natalya in the corner and they just started pounding on her. They were pulling her hair, they were slapping her and punching her with an open fist. And Ronda the Roller Coaster Rousey is just over there in the corner, in the other corner again, just going, "Hey ref, hey ref, hey ref, hey ref, hey ref." It's like if you saw your pet cat and he was getting walloped or she was getting whammered on the street corner, would you just go, "Hey, police"? No. You'd go over and you take those other two cats, you'd grab them by the tails and start playing helicopter kitties. Because you protect your own cat. But not Ronda the Roller Coaster Rousey, who doesn't seem to know how to protect her friends. And everybody loves Ronda Rousey. I don't get it. She hates her friends. They shouldn't be your friends if you're not willing to protect them, right? And it's not even one of those things where it's your friend is doing something wrong. Like Natalya wasn't drunk and trying to like stab Alicia Fox with a knife. Like I might have to be like, Natty, you're on your own on that one. But no, Ronda the Roller Coaster Rousey was just like, "Hey ref." Dang, and then after just 2.5 weeks of jiu-jitsu training, Alexa Bliss gets an armbar on Natalya, and I think she popped a capsule or two in her elbow and made Natalya snap, or tap, both of them maybe, because as we see later, Natalya like runs off sad, and then we never hear from her again. That sounds bad. But no, she made Natalya tap, Ronda Rousey gets in there. Alexa Bliss and her tumble a while. Ronda Rousey arm drags, judo throws or whatever. Alicia Fox finally, when it doesn't matter, she does it. But they each get their licks in. And the end. So we go backstage again, and Baron Corbin's still like over his head in what's going on with the Shield, and then DDB pops up, and they demand that they get some action that night. And I was thinking triple threat match, but no! Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler go, what if something were to happen to the Revival? And then Baron Corbin said, I'd be forced to do something. Okay. And then Braun's like, you better give me some competition tonight. I'm Braun Strowman. We go backstage to Charlie Caruso, who's having a little interview with the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. And of course, if you didn't see this one coming, you need to put on your sunglasses because you're staring at the sun too much. And I'm not saying stare at the sun with your sunglasses on because that's bad too. But you should have had the foresight of this happening. What's his their faces? Drew and Dolph come out and they beat up the Revival, and honestly, they didn't really beat him up too bad. I don't think anybody ever really checked on the Revival. I mean, Dash Wilder, he kind of got the put on by Drew there at the end, but Scott Dawson should have been okay. And this kind of makes me feel like they're not tough, that they're not all they seem and want to be as they walk around. We're the Revival. We're a throwback to the old school. Tully Blanchard, Ollie Anderson. We're so tough. But hit us a couple times and we're down for the night. Men, if you want to be called men, don't act like the boys. And I'm not talking about Dalton Castle's boys. So the B team comes out and it's announced that it's a tag team championship match for one fall. And then JoJo goes, and their opponents. And then there's no response. Or the Revival music plays, but there's nobody comes out. And then JoJo just goes, and their opponents. And then Dolph and Drew come out. And it's kind of like, what if anybody just came out at that moment? And would I just been their opponents? Because she didn't introduce them. Oh. Come on, WWE superstars. You're supposed to take those opportunities and you're supposed to get them and go! Breezango. And this match kicks off and the B team looks like the A team because they're really taking it to Team D&D at first. Bo Dallas charges Dolph Ziggler and just boom, just hits him right in his chest, up against the ropes. Looked like it could have actually hurt or done something bad. And then it went to commercial break. And you know, I had this like thought just then. I was like, how is it that these matches never, ever, ever end on the commercial break? Some of these commercial breaks feel like they're 5 minutes long. And no matter what, it's amazing to me that these matches never end in a commercial break. I don't get it. It's so amazing to me. So both teams get their licks in, but at one point Drew McIntyre just comes in after Curtis Axel gets the perfect plex in on Dolph Ziggler. Drew comes in and he just like picks up Curtis just from standing and then picks him up over his head and just throws him. And then he goes over to Bo Dallas and he grabs his head and he just slams it into that middle turnbuckle. Ow! That must be what pain feels like. There are two things in this life that are certain: death, taxes, and what pain feels like when Drew McIntyre slams your son's head into the middle turnbuckle. But then Dolph gets Curtis up and they do their finishing tag team maneuver that's skipping my mind at the moment. And they become the tag team champions of Raw. And then we go to the back and Drake Maverick is now in between Akam and Razor, AOP Authors of Pain, and he's wearing the same gear they are. And we get out to the stage, right? And then they're walking down the stage, and so you got Akam and Razor who are like, "Urgh." Drake Maverick looks at both of his new boys and he's smiling, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be tough now." Drake announces he's the new manager of AOP, and he's still the general manager of 205 Live, but now he's the manager of AOP as well, and he's gonna take them straight to the tag team titles. Well, Drake, come on. There was just an opportunity to get the titles and you blew it. But that's okay, because now AOP is taking on Team Smacked Raw. And they're not Smacked Raw because they're wearing SmackDown blue and Raw red. They're Team Smacked Raw because AOP just smacked them raw. Oh my gosh, it was a murder. And of course, they win. Ooh, and then I get all pumped up again because I'm thinking I get to see more legends and Hall of Famers talk about the last time between The Undertaker and Triple H. And then we cut to the video package and it's the same video from last week. Oh no. Dang, I didn't know there were only 7 legends and Hall of Famers out there. Then we go backstage and Natty's all in self-doubt. She's holding her arm, probably because it's broken now because of Alexa Bliss. The Bella twins come in and Natty goes, oh, I just can't, I just need a moment to myself. And she walks off. And then the Bella twins look at Ron and go, you're so inspiring. We came back because of you. And then they're done. Then HBK comes out and he's in his old modes. He's promoting his merchandise. He says, get your credit cards out because you're about to order the network and purchase the Super Show, the SmackDown Super Show, Super Showdown. So yeah, so he comes out and he says you gotta purchase the Super Showdown, and I'm like, wait, I hope he was just kidding. HBK picks Triple H to win this match because he believes that Triple H has more gas in the tank. And then he says, the cerebral assassin is going to cerebrally assassinate you. And before he could go really much further, we hear, oh, and it's The Undertaker that came out. And let me tell you this, if you have never seen The Undertaker live, whether you love him, you hate him, or whatever, there is nothing like getting to experience The Undertaker coming out. And he comes out, and boy howdy, let me tell you, he said, Shawn Michaels, the only reason you picked him is because I took your career and a part of your soul. And then, and he also said that your egos can't accept that I beat you. And then Undertaker said something like, you better learn to respect, or something like that. And then Shawn Michaels goes, respect. And Shawn Michaels, to his credit, he has stayed retired this whole time. He even pointed that out. He said, I have been approached every WrestleMania. I've been offered millions and millions of dollars, and I have never taken one of those bookings. You know why? Out of respect for The Undertaker. And then The Undertaker goes, was it out of respect or fear? Because you know you would have come for me first. Ooh, dang it, man. Like, it made me feel like I was 21 years old again watching these two talk. Probably my favorite time of the night. And I don't think it was even that nostalgic. It's these two. Maybe it was partially nostalgic because of the history of the two, but both of them were on point. And I was just like, wow. So then we find out that the Shield has been seen by a judge and have been charged with inciting a riot and disorderly conduct. And we know this because Mike Rome, who in the first time in WWE history is not being followed by a camera to a location. But Baron Corbin walks up to Finn Balor, who's being taped up, and he says, hey, we can have our match tonight. I'm too busy dealing with this Shield. Snap! Well, he didn't say that, but that's my twist on his words. And then Finn Balor goes, well, who am I facing then? Oh, guess who? Braun Strowman. So the next match is the Boss and Hug Connection taking on Dana Brooke and, for whatever reason, Ember Moon. I think it may have been because if you look at it, Ebony starts with an E and is 5 letters. Ember starts with an E and is 5 letters. And then you got Dana Brooke, who is white. And she needs a name that has 5 letters in her name. So you think Ivory, not the Ivory, but this is New Ivory, Dana Brooke. So you'd have Team Ebony and Ivory taking on the Boss and Hug Connection. That's why they were a tag team. All of you need to quit complaining about everything.
Woo, woo, woo.
And at some point while the female superstars were coming out, Michael Cole was doing a little talk about the Purge and how it's going to start on USA Network Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And right after they were done, Corey Grace made the comment that somebody should purge the Boss and Hug Connection. Dang, he wants Sasha Banks and Bayley dead. He was like Matt Hardy talking about Edge when Edge stole Lita from Matt Hardy. He's just like, I want Bayley and Sasha dead. Oh man. And nobody has said anything about it. Like, it's not okay to wish somebody dead, especially Bayley, who just wants to hug everybody. Sasha Banks, she's a boss. Some people don't like their bosses, whatever. But Bayley loves just to hug people, and that does nothing but spread happiness. It may be germs, but I'm sure she's not doing it to spread germs. So Corey Graves, the next time you want somebody dead, maybe you shouldn't say it on national TV. You have a responsibility as a broadcast journalist, and that is to not incite violence and to start people trying to kill each other, okay? So after some back and forth in this match, it ends up with Dana Brooke getting distracted by Titus Worldwide, and she just clearly goes,
I'm doing this my way, okay?
Or she said something like that, and then she goes and tries to attack Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks rolls her up for the pin. And what was interesting was after this match, Dana Brooke went out by Titus Worldwide, Apollo and Titus O'Neil, and she said, I'm through with you! And then she stormed off. Nobody said one thing about that, but what they did say was that Finn Balor was taking on the Monster Among Men, and then they showed Baron Corbin. Good job. So we're backstage again, and Bobby Lashley is coming out of Baron Corbin's office. Bobby Lashley has a piece of paper from Baron Corbin. Charlie Caruso comes up, grabs it, reads it. It says that Bobby Lashley is being ordered to a meditation intervention in the ring with Jinder Mahal. Now, I will sometimes go to a wrestling event and I'll pick somebody that generally isn't liked, but sometimes I like to pretend like I am that person's biggest fan. So the next time I go to a Raw event or any event with Jinder Mahal in it, I'm going to become Jinder Mahal's biggest fan. Don't hinder Jinder will be my chant for the night. So I apologize if you're sitting next to me. I hope you joined in with me, and I hope you have a good laugh, or you laugh at some of my Jinder Mahal chants, because he's gonna be number one in my book. And then at the end of the night when he loses, boo! You're the biggest piece of trash ever, Jinder Mahal, for letting me down. You're my hero. You were my hero, but now you are scum. Now this was super weird. Jinder Mahal was in the ring. Bobby Lashley was sitting in the middle, and on the other side was Sunil, and then Jinder Mahal's doing these like breathing exercises, but he's like, Jinder Mahal's like, doing the weirdest breathing exercises I've ever heard. And then Bobby Lashley's face is, I'm gonna watch this segment again at some point in my life, because Bobby Lashley's face when juxtaposed with the sounds that Jinder Mahal was making was classic. And then like an RKO, Kevin Owens comes out and hits Bobby Lashley, beats up Bobby Lashley bad. Bobby Lashley tries to fight back, but he can't. This is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens takes him outside, takes him up for the power bomb onto the apron. An apron power bomb, I guess it's called now. And boy howdy, Kevin Owens quit last week and he just came back this week. So you can't be a winner if you're a quitter, and I think Kevin Owens realized that. So this judge that put the smackdown on the Shield must have really loved the Shield, because Mike Rome again reports via Twitter that the Shield has been released and they're on their way back to the arena. And this just so happens to happen right when Finn Balor and Braun Strowman, the main event of the night, is about to start. And this match, for being such a smaller guy than Braun Strowman, Finn Balor put on a pretty good fight tonight, but in the end, he just couldn't hold himself up. It also must have been mentally straining knowing that the new tag team champions were on the outside, but Braun Strowman hits a powerbomb, and then he hits the running power slam on Finn Balor for the 1, 2, 3, and then That's what I'm guessing Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were doing in the back of the police car that Roman Reigns was driving. It was super weird because they drove in on the same vehicle that arrested them and took them to like the court, but that, okay, whatever. So the Shield comes out, they go out to the ring, and let's just say that if there ever was a physical embodiment of what a destruction looks like, it was the Shield after pretty much every bad guy in the WWE came out there and just pummeled him. Man, I didn't know that Drew Gulak hated Roman Reigns as much as he does, but I guess he does. Man, they all took it to each of those members of the Shield. Dean Ambrose got taken up to the announce table. He got pummeled on by like 5 guys there. Seth Rollins was taken over to the police car, and they threw him off the stage on that police car. Seth's arm starts bleeding as his arm went through the glass, and then they beat him all up some more. Dolph Ziggler gives Seth Rollins a super kick right there on the chin. They take them all out there. They pile, or they don't really pile them up. They lay them side by side. They were nice about it though. They kind of put head to heels. But then they're all just standing around there and just telling them all they suck. And then Strowman and Dolph and Drew get in the ring and they do their thing. And that brings us to the end of Monday Night Raw special holiday Labor Day edition, September 3rd of the Raw Loaf. Thank you for tuning in. Actually, you know, you're watching it on the 4th, but whatever. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, recaps of Raw and SmackDown. I love doing this, so if you would love to support me, you can click subscribe. You can click like. Please leave some comments below. Nobody answered my question last month, whether or not wrestlers should wear shirts when they wrestle or not. You can go to Facebook, Facebook.com/The Raw Loaf. You can tweet hashtag The Raw Loaf if you want your tweets on the show, or you can just tweet at me at The Raw Loaf. And I appreciate all the support. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for SmackDown.